I'm going to show you a basic weapon system where we can attach the weapon correctly to our character, switch between weapons, and fire the right bullet based on which weapon is selected. Currently, I have no weapon in my hand. The most common way to add weapons is to use a preview mesh in your character's skeleton. However, this has its limitations. First of all, I find it a little annoying to get the correct location, especially since the character is not in the correct animation. Second, the scale can get confusing depending on how you have imported the weapon. Lastly, what if your weapon consists of multiple parts? That's why I'm going to show you an easier way. The most straightforward way is to add a mesh to your character, parent it to the right socket, in this case the right hand, and locate and scale correctly. Then you hide it and set it visible whenever you need. So this works fine. The only limitation to this is that you might need to have a lot of weapons in your game, and that can cost on performance, even if the weapons are hidden, since they're still rendered. So the alternative to this is to create what I call a ghost mesh. This is a way to save the location without having the weapon mesh there directly. First, create your weapon separately as a blueprint. Add the weapon, turn off collision, and customize it with textures and stuff. In your character, add a sphere and make sure it's parented to your mesh and that its location is set to 0. Scale the sphere to be small so that we can place the weapon easier. Add another mesh while the sphere is selected and make sure its location is the same as the sphere. Set it to be your weapon mesh. Now, while the sphere is selected, not the weapon mesh, place it correctly in your character's hand. Make sure to parent it to the hand before you set its location. Don't worry about where the sphere is, just make sure the weapon aligns correctly. When you're done, delete the weapon mesh and set the sphere to be none. In your weapon blueprint, attach actor to component and cast your character. Set all the enums to be snap to target. Set the parent to be the ghost mesh. It won't currently work because the cast fails, so for testing purposes, let's add a delay. Now it's working, but the pistol is too small. This is because we made the sphere small earlier. Reset its size. I'm also going to add another weapon for demonstration purposes. This weapon is a skeletal mesh, but the steps are the same. If you want to scale the weapon, you can either scale the ghost mesh or scale the weapon in the blueprint. Either way works fine. To interact with the weapons, instead of using an enum system, we can use weapon names. This is a much simpler way to do it and works almost the same. Create a name variable. This will represent your current weapon. Add a switch on name and add your weapon to the node. None will return no value, so I'll go with unarmed for no weapons instead. Remember that names are case sensitive, so be accurate when typing. Add a spawn actor. You don't need to set anything, but make sure to split the transform to avoid error. You can also do things like switching stance or play an animation when selecting your weapon. How you select the weapons are up to you, but you can watch my weapon wheel video and utilize that if you like. Add another variable and set it to be an actor. This will be used to delete the weapon. Create a destroy weapon event and call it when selecting a weapon to make sure we don't spawn two weapons at the same time. Now we can remove the delay. To shoot, we can just check what weapon is equipped and spawn the right bullet type. To make sure the bullet goes where we look, add a base aim rotation. For the bullet spawn location, we will need to add a bullet ref. You can either add a mesh that's parented to the ghost and set it to be the weapon and place the bullet ref like that, or you can set the ghost mesh back to be the weapon mesh. Add another sphere that's parented to the ghost. Make it small and place it before the weapon. Set it to be hidden in-game. You can add different properties depending on what weapon you're firing. In this case, I want to make sure my AR fires while holding in the button. To prevent bugs, make sure to also check whether you're still equipping the selected weapon. You can also add muzzle flash and other effects.